The married mutants are a fractured team in a fractured community, but what force could bring them all back together? Well, let's hop into Astonishing X Men Annual issue number 1 and find out for ourselves. Okay then, so as we join the comic, Hank McCoy Beast is getting read the riot act by a snooty maitre d' at a fancy restaurant. Needless to say, Beast does not meet their dress code. This situation is quickly diffused when Beast pulls out the whole "do you have any idea who I am, Sir Gambit? I've saved the world multiple times. I'm kind of a celebrity. Also, do you really want to discriminate against fuzzy Americans? Not in this climate, you don't." At first, it seems like Beast is just going to meet the newly resurrected Jean Grey for dinner, but it quickly turns into a huge reunion of the X-Men's first class, with the original Angel and Iceman following not far behind. They drink, they make merry, swap stories, this restaurant actually being very important to their personal histories. This is where Professor Xavier took them after their first mission. Because I mean, really, when you're a team of superpowered individuals from upstate New York, post-game pizza just ain't gonna cut it. And hey, wouldn't you know it, speaking of Xavier, he shows up next, but not the Xavier you'll remember. You'll recall back in the first arc of Astonishing X Men, Xavier had come back to life by re-inhabiting the body of Phantom X, or maybe you didn't. They didn't really do anything with that story after it was written, so I couldn't blame you for not knowing that. Here's the thing though you gotta know about newly resurrected Charles Xavier. He's kind of a dick. Well, more than usual of a dick. Well, okay, less subtle of a dick than he normally is. It seems that after his most recent death, he's just kind of fed up with everything right now. He's got a real short fuse, but he has come to this dinner hat in hand wanting to apologize to the original class of X-Men for, well, pretty much the entire messed up lives they've had to lead, due in no small part to him. Charles says he wants to make it up to the rest of the X-Men by taking them away for a little retreat in Lago. He's got a little quaint summer home there, and don't bother to ask how exactly he was able to afford it when Kitty pretty much controls all of his money and the mansion. Let's just assume he used his mental powers to do some insider trading, or just convince the person who lived there before to leave. At first, the team is resistant to hanging out with Xavier, but it does start to feel like old times, especially because everyone here in this small town are really nice and really non-judgmental about them all being mutants. In fact, they're so nice it's straight up Pleasantville in here, to the point where it's creepy and the X-Men all figure that they better get to the bottom of this. Hank and Bobby are the first to really see something wrong when Iceman tries to win an eating competition. A dude freaks out at him and calls him a mutie, only to get carted off by the rest of the townsfolk. Beast tries to follow and ends up going missing. It's after this Warren and Jean fully clue into the whole invasion of the body snatcher style thing that's going on in this town. The team knows that Xavier must be at the center of all of this and force him to spill his guts. He tells them the story about Lucifer, aka the man who cost him his legs. No, not the biblical devil of the same name, although Xavier does hypothesize that maybe they are one and the same. This Lucifer is an alien parasite turned supervillain that the X-Men and Avengers all did battle with back in the 60s. It would seem Lucifer has returned to Earth and is using this small town as a staging ground for a full-on invasion. Why Lago specifically? Well, a young girl was killed here by anti-mutant protesters back when the first X-Men team was put together. And wouldn't you know it, Lucifer's powers work better on people who are already filled with anger, hate, prejudice, and all those other societal cancers. Worse still, Lucifer has already been able to turn Beast to his side, which means that our heroes not only have to battle the townsfolk, but one of their own. Ultimately, the good guys are able to get Hank back under control, but he is a little dour about the whole thing. While being part of Lucifer's hive mind, all of those horrible things that have been going on in his life, well, they just melted away. Instead, taken over by a kind and reassuring hive mind. With the battle turning in the good guys' favor, Xavier says that they have no choice but to kill Lucifer before his plague spreads elsewhere. Obviously, the rest of the good guys don't want to kill, but moreover than that, they hate the idea that Xavier set this up from the very beginning to back him up. Xavier fires back by calling the original X-Men a bunch of entitled kids and that they need to get in gear if they want to actually save the day. In the end, though, this moral and philosophical debate will have to be put on the back burner because Lucifer signs his own death warrant when he attempts to get inside Warren's brain, a brain that's already pretty messed up and filled with evil Archangel stuff. The other heroes might have qualms about killing, but when Warren goes in Archangel mode, yeah, he has no qualms whatsoever. Now, as the comic winds down, we see the dinner from the beginning of the book play out again, only this time it's shown that Xavier tampered with the X-Men's mind so they no longer remember what happened. Except for maybe Warren himself, it's left a little open-ended what he knows and what he doesn't. So there you have it, everyone. Astonishing X Men Annual issue number 1. It pretty much had nothing to do with Matthew Rosenberg's new Astonishing X-Men that's going on right now, but that doesn't mean it wasn't also enjoyable. Getting to see the older, more tired original X-Men work together again, try and recapture their glory days and walk down memory road was a lot of fun. I'm not 100% sure what to make of this new direction for Xavier yet. I know we've seen Magneto go up and down the karmic scale all the time. It's interesting to see a slightly more evil version of Xavier. It's also just nice to see Rosenberg acknowledge this character's existence even if they do wipe the playing field once he's done. Overall, an enjoyable little one-shot, but I don't think I enjoyed it as much as what I've been enjoying in the main Astonishing X-Men story. Overall, I'd feel comfortable giving it a 7 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cave Joel, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out some of this other comic content I have available for you. Then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cave Joel, so you're always up to speed on what I'm doing next. And hey, if you're in the market for some comic books for yourself, might I recommend buying your trades through my book depository link down in the description. Not only will you save a bundle by not having to pay anything for shipping or handling, but everything you buy via my link goes to support me and the channel. So you win, I win, everybody wins, right? And until next time, I will be back again with more comic content that smacks of greatness. Bye-bye, everybody.